we want to graph y equals 4 cosine x for all x's in 0 to 2 pi. Now how are we going to do that? Well, when we think about it, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do a table of values. That'll work every single time. But maybe there's a trick that's going to help us that will be much faster and more efficient. So what we want to look at first is you need to find your base function. And I know that that's going to be just the cosine of x. And so if I graph the cosine of x between 0 and 2 pi, I know that it starts at 0, 1. The lowest point is going to be at -1, so that's at pi. And then I know that it's going to come back up at 2 pi back to the 0 point. So now the question is, how does it flow? Well, if it starts here, it's going to come down, and then it's going to come back up. So that's what our base function looks like. But we notice this time what? We don't have a base function. We have 4 times that base function. So what is that going to do to our graph? Well, remember what we've studied is that this 4 tells us the amplitude, and that's the distance from the x-axis. So that means that instead of starting at 1, now I'm going to start at 4. Well, what happens to the rest of my points? Well, the next point when I'm at pi over 2 is still going to be 0. That's going to be kind of like their common point. So this point would be common to both. Then what am I going to do? Well, the bottom point is going to have to be 4 units away from the x-axis, so I'm going to have to come down 1, 2, 3, 4. So then at pi, instead of being -1, it's going to be -4. And I have to come back up, right? So I know that there's going to be something at 3 pi over 2, which is 0 again. So they're going to cross at 0. And then at 2 pi, because we have to go all the way to 2 pi, what happens? Well, at 2 pi, it's going to go back all the way up to 4. So I just need to casually try to make this pretty. Okay, it's not perfect. But so this time what you've noticed is that now it's actually a little skinnier on the wave than what our initial was.